Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'll be talking about the VP units and if they're good or not. Not really sure if there's any desire for these units other than the appeal that they're nostalgic. So I'm only, of course, as per usual, I'm only going to go into to how good they are in the meta, not for nostalgic, because as always, if you're nostalgic, you're gonna pull regardless of what I say, is what I usually retort with. So, we went over the TMR and STMR already in my news video, but the STMR only has 50% magic TDH, which is very not so good. Not really worth chasing, plus it has not as much magic as a Shara Rod. It does have 20% MP, but if that was HP, probably a little better, but not really worth chasing for, unfortunately. And you'll notice that there's no Chaos Wave here because this guy has new chaining frames, which is very strange to have on a limited time banner, to have a new chaining frame. Don't know why they decided to do that, especially since these units can only chain with themselves, basically, for right now. But he does have a pretty insane rotation. He has... I was kind of... My mouth kind of opened up a little bit when I saw that the Burst fill for all allies. But unfortunately, that's missing something with that. The resistance to defense and spirit break, but there's no attack and magic break. If it was a full defense resistance break, that'd be insane for a mage to have something like that, like a utility type of unit. And also, I don't really see. He does not have. Okay, I mean, if you dupe chain him, he has a pretty good Lilliput's chain. It's only 8 hits, but the max modifier is pretty damn high. Plus, since it's worded this way, guys, that the Lilliput comes first, the Lilliput damage will come in first, and then the Lilliput hits. Is what I'm assuming, anyways. And then the usual imperils. He has no way of obtaining quadcast. He has no quadcast in his kit, and he has no way of getting quadcast, so... I mean... New chaining family, but no quadcast. So that already makes me think that he's not going to be nearly as good, even though his modifiers are pretty high. I just don't think that it's that great since he doesn't have quadcasting. But the one thing that is very strange, and this has been here this morning. The cooldown ability, guys, the one I'm looking at. I've never seen a buff like that before, and it can't be an error at this point because this has been there since after the maintenance. And that's the maintenance, and several hours afterwards. So obviously, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Having a burst cause that high. There's literally he's going to get his own burst up to max in one turn. That's the most. That has to be a bug or something, or basically you're intentional to use that and get your limit burst filled right away. I mean that buff is tremendously large. I've never seen a buff like that. Like I said, that's insane, and I guess that's where his main damage comes into. I'm pretty sure if you can use. Yeah, you can use triple cast, so you would do 2 elements. You'd use 2 of the elements, and then you use that as the last one, since you can only single cast that. Obviously, since it's a cooldown ability, you'd want to do that. Stardust free chaining, so you'd really hope that you have some friends with this unit, because his rotations only really work with a dupe. You can't bring the classic Chaos Wave, obviously, with this guy. You can only, this guy is really meant for dupe chaining, and dupe chaining is still, you know, the most necessary for most trials, but sometimes maybe you don't want to do chain. So this is most of the things that you would expect in a mage. Really, it just has the same stuff that most mages would have, except for quad casting. And she has some killers though. It's very nice, and he does have HP and MP restoration. He does have some HP, okay. And 50% spirit is quite nice. He has a lot of magic passives, so he'll definitely get to max magic pretty easily like most mages can these days. Other than that, he's just a standard mage, guys. Other than the rotation, which I said, but this is what his rotation should be. You can't use that. You can't use that insane cooldown within turn 1, unfortunately. You would want to use the Imperil, this one. You would want to use that, and then you'd want to, on top of that, you'd want to use one of these 3 elements here to choose, which is pretty good variety. I just go with fire. Fire is the easiest one to use. So for 3 turns, basically only 2 turns, you're gonna triple cast one of these elements to choose from. And after that, I'll probably actually on the 3rd turn, hopefully the perils still stay. I'm not really sure with the wording. I'm pretty sure on the 3rd turn they go away, but they might not. You would use the Stardust Rate chaining as your maximum burst turn. Turn 3 is pretty much your burst turn, and every 3 turns after that. Because there really isn't, like, is there really a reason to use his long burst other than like get some MP back? Because I think his long burst would do less damage than using this rotation, which I've said. I feel like the rotation that I said is much better than using his long burst. Using his long burst is a complete waste of time. It's not enough hits to make up for it. I mean, it has a high modifier, but it doesn't make up for it, and he doesn't have any low burst damage passives. So only use the low burst if you feel like you want to and you need MP, I guess. But well, let me know what you guys think about that. He has some killers. He has magic TDH. He doesn't have quad cast, so keep that in mind. And he also is not chaos wave chaining. He has a new chaining frame. That will only chain with this unit here. Now this is the unit that I kind of want more, but I probably just don't want to pull because it's limited time banner and the step up is pretty bad. Step up is really bad actually. There's no guarantees other than 1 VP unit in the 4th step, but it's random. It could be any of them. So the STMR, we talked about in my news video, but it's still bonkers, dude. If you need resistances to any of three of those things, you're already almost halfway there. Like, it's insane. But the way to get it is just it's a little too hard. So nothing crazy with the equipment. I don't think Lezard had anything other than like harps, but you would probably never want to use that anyways. There wasn't really anything special here either. I think there was one thing, like there was one thing I think. No, there really isn't. There is nothing really here that's crazy. So I'm assuming they'll be making more of this chaining family because actually they're not sharing the same elements. So they can only chain with fire and dark. They can't even chain with thunder, and he can't chain with thunder, or he can't chain with wind. And you probably would never want to do. You would probably never want to chain 2 of them together, anyways. Unfortunately, because they don't. Because she does not have that crazy cooldown move. The magic 5,000% modifier doesn't mean anything because it's a one-hit move. It's I don't know how you would fit that in, but it does increase your modifiers by a little bit. So you'd obviously want to somehow fit that in somewhere, but her rotation would be very similar. Besides, her rotation would be basically the same, except instead of the cooldown on turn 3, you just use more stacked. You just use more on their stab because you'd never really want to use. I don't know. On turn 3, you probably just want to do more stacking damage instead of using that cooldown ability. But she does have some interesting things like giving herself MP back, doing some mitigation to all allies. It's only 20% though. Passives are very limited. I feel like these units were kind of just thrown together because like they didn't have enough time or something. Because look at these passives, guys. It's almost nothing. There's almost nothing in our kit for passives. It's very limited. And the Lone Purse this time is actually a lot more interesting because it's 14 hits. So if you're dupe chaining, 14 hits is pretty good. Maxed out, plus it gives her magic 300% bonus, just like Angela, pretty much. 300% magic. It's pretty balanced because it's only magic, it only lasts for 1 turn. So the turn after you use it is going to be the burst turn. At least I hope that's that way, and not like Grimlord Sakura, where it doesn't work at all that way. So I'm sure it should work the way next turn you should get magic bonus. If it only lasts during the turn you use this Lone Purse, that's pretty bad. But it's locked to wind only, but you do have. This doesn't imperil for wind, unfortunately, but you do have wind and peril, so you have 80% and you have 120. So the Lone Purse is probably going to be one of her main damage dealing moves because maxed out is 4,500% modifier. Though again, she does not have any Lone Purse mods, so maybe not. I don't know. It will do good damage because it has more hits than the other one, but maybe just stick with the chaining. I'm not sure, if whatever you guys feel like doing. She's also has some decent HP mods, a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. But I just feel like these units are kind of thrown together because there's almost nothing interesting about them other than the new modifier or new chaining family. But again, they're stuck with only with themselves because there's no. This is new, so why make this a limited time banner with only having these chaining families, not Chaos Wave? I mean, I know people gripe about chaining families, Chaos Wave chain, but when you're making a limited time banner, you gotta have to make them a little more appealing than this, because they're really not that appealing to me. The only thing that's appealing to me is this STMR here, and it's an STMR, so obviously it's not so easily obtainable. Besides pulling one and waiting for a prism like a year from now, and then using an STMR removal on it. That's a long time to wait, guys. That's a huge investment. You might not even want to play it after a year, so you might just waste all your tickets and getting only one, or getting 0. So these are my thoughts, guys. Of course, as usual, these are not law. I am not claiming to be god of reviews here. But I just feel like there's only some things in here that are interesting, but most things are pretty standard. The 2 things that are really interesting to me, new chaining family, but it counts against them at the same time. It's interesting, but it counts against them right now. We need to see if there's going to be more of these new chaining family moves, and also the STMR on the girl, Mystina. Although I will say that I really like the cooldown ability on Lezard Valeth. It's pretty good, and then the LB gauge increase is pretty interesting. I assume that's like supposed to be to full, because now I notice that it's not actually LB fill rate. It's not percentage. It's just it fills it. I assume this is supposed to just fill to full, and the max, like the 99,999. It's just supposed to be like a dramatic way of getting it all the way up to the full fill. So it only costs 38 crystals. So I should just say 38 crystals, but whatever. Let me know what you guys think about the review. Let me you guys think if you're gonna pull for them, or you're just gonna pass and wait for the next King Mug like I am probably gonna be doing. Don't miss out on the 3-star though. The 3-star has 50% Dragon Killer on a body slot, so that's pretty good. And maybe you'll get a rainbow. I don't know. Maybe you'll get a rainbow along the way. Alright guys, if you guys enjoyed, please subscribe if you haven't already. To all my subscribers, thank you for sticking around with me. I'm still trying to improve, and I will continue to strive to be better. And hopefully this review is a better process than my other ones. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.